Hello, it's October 4th, 2025, and I thought I'd do this video on looking at today and looking at the Diurnal chart and just looking at the energy there within the Diurnal chart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the Saturn-Venus midpoint, and I have found that a Saturn-Venus midpoint is really wonderful at looking at the type of energy. I do that on, solar returns and even the natal chart. But anything that solar Venus midpoint has become just it's a powerful point in the chart. So the type of astrology I practice is called Synergistic Astrology. It's a variant of both vibrational astrology and Sabian symbols, is really what it is. It uses different methods in a sense, but it tries to look at a holistic approach to the chart, not just this point or that point, but sort of trying to get as many things collectively to see the overall trend and the overall movement of the energy, where it's going, what it's trying to do. And for the collective and both for the individual as well. So I'm pulling up and using the United States chart today is what I'm doing. So I'm not just using a transit chart, but I'm actually using the United States chart, ran the Diurnal for today on that one, and then ran the both the Saturn and Venus. So what you have here is a Saturn at 27 degrees, 28 minutes, Pisces, and Venus at 18 degrees, 51 minutes, Virgo. So the midpoint here is a Gemini, 24 degrees. Now, another thing you can do is you can do the ascendant, which is a 6 degree 49 minutes Pisces. And you're going to see, I already did that, and it's very cooperative with this particular Venus Saturn midpoint. So you can see how they flow together. I'm probably not going to bother with that right now, but we'll see. Maybe I will. So in the Gemini 24 degrees, you're dealing with the 279th vibration, or called the adaptive grounded dreamer. So what this is, I'm also just taking this from the book I wrote, which is called the Synergistic Astrology, 360 Vibrations Defined. It's every single degree, every vibration, 781 pages. So it's not like I have the book memorized or anything. But again, 2 pages basically of information per degree. And so I like to take it, just read from the book in a sense. So I'm not adding my own thoughts to this particular event. It's already there. And so I can show you sort of how to use the book. You can determine how effective it is or how accurate it is. But it makes it cleaner. So in this Gemini 24 degrees, or the 279th vibration, the adaptive grounded dreamer. This vibration embodies the fusion of intellectual agility and steady perseverance. It thrives on balancing adaptability with the need for grounded action, ensuring that rapid learning translates into lasting impact. Individuals with this energy possess a keen sense of how to navigate uncertainty while maintaining stability, making them highly effective problem solvers and visionaries. There's a strong interplay between embracing change and securing lasting foundations, requiring a balance between fluidity and endurance. Now, some of the negatives here. The negative aspects of the vibration include a lack of ambition and clarity. making it difficult for individuals to concentrate and achieve their goals. They may become too absorbed in luxury or congenial pursuits, lending to a lack of focus on practical matters. They can have an unselfish nature and tendency to be overly trusting, and this can sometimes result in being taken advantage of or failing to prioritize their own needs. Now, part of the Sabian symbol definition here, the imagery is that of children skating over a frozen village pond. And it says here, through Rudyard's interpretation of the Sabian symbol, the use of inhibiting circumstances for the development of character and a transcendent approach to the environment. So what you're doing is triumph over entropy, is what it sort of describes. So in this particular vibration, we next go to the nexus, and it's called the nexus axis. This is like, okay, how are we going to develop this energy to its endpoint, which is Taurus 6 degrees? So the nexus here is a combination of Taurus 30 and Scorpio 30. So look here, go to Taurus 30. And Taurus 30, which is the 760th page, is the powerful stabilizing leadership. And what it is it's the display of inherited gifts. It embodies the mastery of stability that transitions into a bold renewal of purpose. And it represents the moment when discipline and persistence give way to confident self-expression. Now, if unbalanced, the energy can become overly fixated on control, resisting change even when it's necessary. So these are the element of the steps. One, you don't want to be too insistent, but what you're wanting to do is you're wanting to be stable. And so there's a difference between stability and stubbornness in a sense. So a great person is able to display a multitude of gifts, or when a great person is able to display a multitude of gifts, it's always at one level or another. And so that's what you've got going on here. Now, the other side of this is a Scorpio 30. And Scorpio 30 is the self-overcoming fire. And this is the vibration embodies the intense transformation of inner power into bold outward expression. The Sabian symbol here is children in Halloween costumes indulge in various pranks. And this is the periodic outlets society furnishes when traditional limits are still, or basically when traditions limit still immature energies. So in the symbol, it is the first degree of Scorpio. We see individuals beginning to be involved in the collective life of a large city. This leads them to great diversity of experience, which stimulates their sense of belonging to a vaster whole, or it may stimulate their rebellious instincts. Some of the latter, in most cases, cannot be completely overcome, but society is built in several ways of allowing them to operate under ritualistic procedures that are sufficiently safe to the collective. Wherever this symbol is found, the need for such outlets is shown to exist. So what this one does is we're having to conform, but like there's struggles for certain individuals to actually conform to a certain image. And so the society builds in ways in which there's an outlet for that expression. Things that are no longer acceptable, but on this day and this time, it's acceptable. I mean, here you're going around collecting candy, you're wearing things of the dead, things that are scary. That's kind of the imagery of Halloween. That's what you have here for the Sabian symbol. And so you're doing a little practice of scaring your neighbors and actually threatening them, saying, trick or treat. So it gives rise to that sort of energy, the ability to do that. And so it gives a acceptable outlet for it. And it's called a relief from tension. So one of the things that is needed here in this adaptive grounded dreamer is a need to deal with relief from tension. How do you deal with these things? All right. So again, this is how we're getting to our destination, or the circuit of energy. It starts as this adaptive grounded dreamer, and it's going into Taurus 6 degrees. And Taurus 6 all right, let's see, is the nature-inspired innovator, is what we're looking at here. The Sabian symbol is a cantilever bridge across a deep gorge, and it's the conquest of separateness through group cooperation. So the idea is, what we're trying to do is we're trying to bring about a union through group cooperation. And so there's this bridge upon this vast, again, the conquest of that which is separating the two groups, or the two sides. So the person who has suffered deprivation and loneliness can give new substance to his or her emotional life by participating in a collective project. All great evolutionary challenges imply the overcoming of basic difficulties. A step ahead must be taken. Yet an abyss confronts evolving man. It is no longer a personal void, an open grave, as it were, but a chasm that is an integral part of the land upon which man's evolution must proceed. A link must be built through the power of the collective mind of the group or the community at large, on the basis of the legacy of the past, to make a bridge over the canyon. So this is the capacity to conquer obstacles. That's what the energy is going towards. So when you start with a Gemini 24, as it were, all right, so this is our base degree, this is our base point, this is the concept of what we're trying to do. And that, again, we're going to the adaptive grounded dreamer, and we're looking at the use of inhibiting circumstances for the development of character and a transcendent approach to the environment. Okay, so like, okay, how do we move forward? How do we deal with this? How are we going to do that? Looking then again at the Taurus 30, Scorpio 30. Scorpio 30 was you ritualize things that aren't necessarily allowed. And the Taurus 30 was the display of a magnificent soul, as it were. So, let me really look at that one again. That is the personal display of inherited gifts. So that's what that is. It's the vibration embodies the mastery of stability, transitioning into a bold renewal of purpose. Okay, so that's what we're looking at there. So it's that transition to purpose, and then also the need to take energy that has been, in a sense, suppressed or not allowed within society. It needs to be expressed. All right. And ultimately, we're going to building that bridge that joins the two groups. And why would I say that? Well, you know, if we're going to take this energy and we're going to say, how is this manifesting in the world today? Well, when you want to go to a binary, and nothing is truly binary in that sense, and that's the whole point of synergistic. It's everything is sort of combining together. But you do have a propensity for conservative and liberal. All right. And we see that in the world very much today. That's not shocking at all. What does this mean? So conservative is conserving. They want to preserve what is. The liberal is more of a progressive movement forward, the adaptation, the bringing in different things. Naturally unstable, all right? Because it's not standing still, it's wanting to move forward. So you have to consider both, all right? What do I mean? One is not right and one is wrong. That's not the way it works. There's a time when you need stability and there's a time when you need movement forward. So, I mean, that's the way you walk. You take the step, find the stability of the point you're moving, and that moves you forward, all right? So, and you need to work hand in hand. If you have all of it totally conservative, you're never going to move forward. I mean, you're going to stay, you're going to pack, you'll stay in one place. You think it's safety, but really it's not. Because it's going to get old, it's going to get boring, there's going to be a lot of problems. You take the liberal movement forward, again, if you're always moving forward, nothing ever grows, nothing is built, nothing is established. So it's constant change. It will exhaust you. You have no time for rest, no time for anything. Okay, so this is the reality. That's why they have to work together. You need these things. You need to build that bridge across that chasm. And we have all of these in our own individual lives. You'll see everybody has conservative points and liberal points. Now, some people have more of a propensity for liberal. Some people have more of a propensity for conservative. But everybody has both in them. You can't live without it. So when we're dealing with this energy, what we're dealing with is, okay, how it brings things together. And what you have is you have the base point here is the adaptive, grounded dreamer. All right, again, it's adaptive, that's a liberal side. Grounded, that's a conservative side. And dreamer, that's a liberal side. So it's liberal, conservative, liberal. That's kind of how this dynamic goes. So, and again, it's going from a Gemini, an air sign, to a Taurus, an earth sign. Now, the negative, again, aspects of this base, there can be a lack of ambition and clarity. All right, so the lack of ambition can be the desire to set things down, and then the clarity. So that's one thing, that you'd be looking at in the world today. Is there a lack of ambition and clarity? Well, there's definitely a lack of clarity. And when I deal with clarity, you're dealing with the adaptive, grounded dreamer. All right. So you're looking at how are we moving forward? I don't think there's a lot of clarity in that. It makes it difficult for individuals to concentrate and achieve their goals. When you don't know what your goal is, it's hard to achieve it. And this may become too absorbed in luxury and convenient pursuits. Okay, so small pursuits, which are not trying to join anything, it's small little things. And it's absorbed in luxury. Again, that it doesn't want any sort of pain or having to do without. And that leads to a lack of focus on practical matters. Again, these are typical issues with this type of energy. All right. So what we're wanting to do, though, is really to achieve balance in this. Individuals with this vibration must integrate their imaginative and psychic nature with practical actions and disciplined effort. They need to manage their lack of ambition and focus, concentrating on steady, disciplined efforts to achieve lasting success. Embracing their artistic and social talents, they can channel their energy into meaningful and constructive pursuits, understanding and balancing their unselfish nature with self-care and personal priorities. This will help them achieve a fulfilling and balanced life. All right, so that's again for the Gemini 24. Now, we're also looking then at the Scorpio 30, because we want to see how do we really complete this? So we go back to Scorpio 30, and what we're looking at here, all right, this is page 772. To fully embody this particular energy, one has to balance intensity and endurance with transformation and stability. Strength is not just in challenging norms, but in refining vision over time. Power must be directed with purpose, ensuring that revelation leads to sustainable growth rather than fleeting impact. Mastery comes through controlled transformation, where fire fuels evolution rather than destruction. All right, so you're dealing here, whenever you're dealing, because this is a Scorpio energy, you have an element of that fire. So almost like lava, as it were, because it's that flowing kind of water sign. So you have to balance the intensity with endurance. So it needs a strength, not just that intense factor. It really needs a balance between that sort of progressive liberal aspects of life along with the conservative. So in order to move the energy forward, you have to come together. So this energy will totally dissipate into nothingness without people coming together, without, in a sense, both sides coming together. It won't manifest. You will not have the adaptive grounded dreamer without it. That's what the energy dictates. That's what it's calling for. You must have that, in a sense, cooperation. So when unbalanced, again, the vibration struggles with tension between secrecy and exposure, control and chaos. There's the need for validation or influence can lead to manipulation, emotional volatility, or performative self-expression that masks deeper insecurities. All right. So again, it's trying to lay out, and what you'll see in the book is, as you're going through the different points, you can see how it lays out the potential problems and the solutions to get to where the energy needs to go. Now, the other thing you do is you begin to put this into the chart. All right, so you put it into America's chart. Let's see here. And if you go with the Gemini 24, what you're looking at is this will manifest in the 7th house. Okay, so Gemini 24 is a 7th house issue. So it means it's relational. You're dealing with fans, you're dealing with the public in that way. So it's relational, it's committed relational dynamics. And the next step being that Scorpio 30. So where do you need to work here? So the Scorpio 30 is in the, where is that? Oh, there it is. So that's going to be in the 12th house. So what this is this is going to be done in secret. It's not going to be public. The powers that be, the leaders that be, are going to have to meet in sort of behind the scenes, not publicly. That's where they have to join and come up with an actual plan. I mean, that would be for this energy to manifest properly. That's where it's going to manifest. And then finally, you have the Taurus 6. Let's see here. Whoops. 24. Taurus 6. Yeah. So Taurus 6 is going to be in the 5th house. So that manifests in the U.S. 5th house. So it has to come in a sort of creative, theatrical, maybe way. It's done. Okay, that's ideally you would have the commitment. Those that have a certain commitment, a responsibility, meet in secret, and then bring it out in a sort of theatrical, dramatic way. That would be how the energy would run through and have a positive manifestation. Okay. And this happened to be, again, a dynamic for today. So do I think that's going to happen? Probably not. It's what the energy wants it to happen, but it doesn't mean it will. It says it's there. You still have a free will as to how you want it. You're going to manifest the energy. You just manifest it negatively, which the negative manifestation ends, then it's really, it can be taken advantage of. It can be absorbed in luxury and lack of real pursuits, lack of focus. You don't even actually know what you're trying to do. You don't know what you're trying to accomplish. That could be part of the factors there. On the Scorpio 30, when it goes negative, the energy can veer into destructive rebellion, provocation, compulsive boundary pushing, creating cycles of drama, secrecy, or scandal without integration. It risks burning bridges and losing authenticity, or becoming consumed by power struggles rather than true self-mastery. So that's how that could go really negative. So again, the energy always manifests. It's just, does it manifest in a positive way or a negative way? So this would be the chart for today. And it's really a chart for today only. And you're looking at the diurnal for the United States and the midpoint between Venus and Saturn. So I hope you enjoyed it. That's just a little demonstration of how to look for a particular energy on a particular day with someone's chart. Now, you can do this as just a normal transiting chart, just to look at the energy for the world, and you can do the same thing. You won't be able to manifest it through a house, but you will be able to see the general world dynamic, which can always be very interesting. Or you can take it, do it for your own personal chart, see how it manifests, what kind of energy is manifesting for you on that day, or for your clients, or whatever it may be. But again, I find it kind of interesting. If you have any questions, hey, you can feel free to write me, ask a question. Eventually, I've got a couple other books I want to have come out here, and I'll go into a little bit more about synastry and the whole synergistic astrology. I'd probably eventually teach a course on it sometime in the near future here. So again, hopefully you're enjoying your day, you're enjoying life, and you're just riding that wave as the best you can. All right. I'll talk to you later.